Hello, it's Simon Zutshi here, and in this property education video, I want to share with you how important it is to avoid knee-jerk reactions. People panic and things change. I'm going to show you how you can actually evolve and get used to change and embrace change, and actually in times of difficulty, which is right now for many people, not only survive but also thrive in times of uncertainty. What I'm talking about is as a follow-up from one of my last videos, which I called The Death of Property Investing, which is what many property investors are saying now that the Labour government has come to power in their landslide election. It means they can bring in pretty much whatever they want and they're not going to be opposed. A lot of people are saying this is the death of property investing. We are seeing many property investors selling up. We've seen that for the last few years, but even so now, more and more people are saying, you know what? I've had really good capital growth for a number of years. Things don't stack up as well now as they used to. Maybe now is the time to sell my properties, to cash in, and maybe use the money doing something else. And this is often a knee-jerk reaction we see when change comes. Now, I want to talk about a couple of the times I've seen this over the years and how you can always spot the opportunity when things like this happen. So I've been investing in property since 1995. I bought my first home and actually became an instant live-in landlord at that time. And I've been teaching other people like you how to become successful investors since 2003. And so over my almost 30 years of investing and over 20 years of teaching other people, there have been several times where things have happened where investors have gone, oh my God, that's it. It's all over. There's no point investing in property anymore. One of them was obviously in 2008 when we had the global financial crisis. And a particular way we were buying property with no money down at that time was what was called a same-day remortgage. You'd buy a property below market value and you'd buy it using someone else's money, cash bridging. You could borrow just for a day. And once you owned it, you could actually refinance it, not waiting 6 months, but do it literally a same-day refinance based on the true value, which means you'd pay back the bridging and often end up with money in your pocket. It was amazing. You could literally buy property and get paid to buy property. Those were the days. But when that stopped in May 2008, many people who I know had bought tens of properties, even 100 plus properties, suddenly thought, oh my God, it's the end of property. We can't do this anymore. And they literally stopped for a couple of years. And there's a problem. I'll tell you why they stopped and what the problem was in a moment. Then fast forward to things like Brexit. You know, when Brexit happened, a lot of people said, oh my God, all these foreign workers are going to go and leave the country. And many of them did, by the way. They said, no one's going to want to live in our HMOs anymore. And people panicked at that point. And then when COVID came and the government announced these rent holidays for tenants who are struggling, and they said also, if you're a landlord, you can have a mortgage holiday. A massive knee-jerk reaction. Tens of thousands of landlords took out these payment holidays on their mortgages. And we said to our people in our community, look, unless you absolutely need to do that, and hopefully if you've followed my rules in Property Magic, you've got a cash buffer, you can survive past some problems. But if you haven't done that and you need to take out the emergency mortgage, fine, do that. But we said, don't do that because that's going to have an impact. You see, a lot of people took out that emergency mortgage holiday thinking, I don't have to pay my mortgage for a while. But then it came to bite them when in a year or two they wanted to remortgage or buy a new property, and those lenders keep records, so they go back and look and say, oh, you were struggling a while ago, you took a mortgage holiday, and people were getting refused for remortgages and purchase mortgages because they'd taken out holiday. And we knew that was going to happen. So there's a cure for all of these knee-jerk reactions. Very often we make a decision when we're doing things on our own in isolation, and we make decisions based on our knowledge and our experience at the time. And if I'm, perfectly honest as I am very often about my own portfolio, which I've built over the last almost 30 years, there are a number of properties that I've bought that, you know what, if I had a second chance to buy those properties, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have bought those properties. But at the time, knowing what I knew, and the experience I had, they seem like good deals. So we need to, first of all, have an open mind, recognize we're never going to know everything. I don't know everything about property, and anyone who claims to know everything, they're either trying to kid you or they're trying to kid themselves. You'll never know everything, right? And that's okay. but we need to keep updating our knowledge and make sure we understand what's happening and what's relevant in the market right now. That's why going to things like property training events, going to networking meetings, meeting other people who are actively investing right now, you can pick up the latest hints and tips. It's great watching videos like this on YouTube, but you don't know how old is that video. I might say something in this video which is perfectly correct and relevant now, and something changes in a month, 6 months time, and so maybe there's some incorrect information. And I don't know about you, I'm not gonna go back and edit all those old videos, right? So that's why having latest up-to-date information is really important. You also have to be very careful who you listen to. Anybody can put a YouTube video up, anyone could do a podcast. You've got to ask yourself a question, does this person know what they're doing? How long have they been doing this? Have they been able to successfully teach other people to do this, or is it just their opinion that they might think is fact? I am shocked by some of the things I see other people say on YouTube, which I think is actually completely incorrect, and actually it's bad advice they are giving people. And people who are watching may not know the difference between bad advice and good advice. So be careful who you listen to. And as I said, plug into your local support network. There is bound to be a property network meeting close to you. There are 50 PIN meetings around the country and also in the Netherlands and Dubai. And there are other great networking meetings as well. But get yourself along to those to keep up to date to find out what's happening. Now, the latest crisis that spawned this last video I did, the death of property investing, that's what many people are calling it, is the Labour government landslide election. And that means the Labour Party will be able to bring pretty much anything they want to bring in. And so a lot of people are worried about things like potential rent caps might happen. They've made it very clear they're going to get rid of the no-fault Section 21 eviction process. And people might think, oh my God, can we still invest? Look, there's always going to be a way. And I've noticed right now, because I have my ear to the ground at 50 plus locations all over the UK, and I often spot things before anyone else even knows what's going on. And I can tell you categorically right now, there are many, many investors, new and experienced, who are just sitting on their hands waiting. They're waiting to see what happens, waiting to see what the Labour government do. Now, I can understand that to a certain extent, but I once was told, and it's a very smart thing, that you don't want to worry about things you can't control. The Labour Party, the Labour government are going to do what they want to do, right? Don't worry about what could or couldn't happen. We just need to get on with the opportunity right now. And this is the opportunity. Because many investors are waiting to see what happens, there are not as many buyers in the market right now. And also, I'm recording this in July. We're about to go into the summer holiday when many investors take their foot off the gas. They spend time with their family and their kids, which obviously they should do, but they kind of completely forget investing until they come back in September. And then sometimes you can take weeks or even months for them to get back into the swing of things. And then before you know it, it's Christmas and everything slows down again. So my message to you is I would really encourage you to step up your activity over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Because you've got the election, that's holding lots of people back. You've got summer holidays holding lots of people back. There are really not that many buyers in the market right now. But guess what? There is still lots of people who need to sell. It is a buyer's market. That means there are more sellers than there are buyers. It means it's perfect for us if we're getting into the market. Now, what you need to understand is normally we have a rising market and we have this, because we live on an island with a limited amount of accommodation, there's normally a seller's market. There are normally more people trying to buy than there are sellers. But that's complete opposite right now. Now is very much the best time to do it. But don't sit on your hands. Don't wait to see what happens. Get out there and find these truly motivated sellers, people who've got a problem. And we're not trying to take advantage. Far from it. We're trying to find an ethical win-win solution. If you give someone what they want, you're far more likely to get what you want. Now, I've been investing a very long time. I've been teaching people like you for over 2 decades, and I can absolutely guarantee you the best way to be a successful investor is to be an ethical investor. Of course, we want to make money. Of course, we want deals, but it doesn't have to be at the disadvantage of someone else. If we go and find these truly motivated sellers, by the way, it's only about 5% of the market. If we find these people, really try and understand what the problem is, how we can help them solve their problem, we're far more likely to get a good deal as ourselves. And no matter what's happening in the market, booming market, stagnant or falling market, there are always motivated sellers. But right now, there are even more of these sellers. So although the Labour government might bring in some policies that are generally not good for property investors, because everyone's waiting and sitting on the fence thinking about it, and more landlords are thinking about selling, that's exactly why you should be jumping into the market. Of course, you need to know what to do. Of course, you need to do your due diligence, but assuming you do all of that and you've got some training, you know what you're doing, please step up your activity, because there are deals to be done right now in your area, and either you're going to do them or the other savvy, switched on investors are going to be snapping up those deals. If you want to learn more about successful investing, maybe you can come and join one of our pin meetings. We're going to put a link below this video, and it's a great place to meet other local investors, to be inspired what other people are doing. Because here's the thing, if other people are doing great things in your area, it means it's possible. But if you're trying to do things on your own, remotely, you don't have the benefit of learning from other people. You're more likely to fall into this knee-jerk reaction when big announcements happen, or fall into paralysis analysis. You've got to get like-minded, supportive people around you to help you move forward in your property journey. And if you've never been to one of our pin meetings before, what are you waiting for? If you've never been, you can use the voucher code YouTube on the checkout page, and you don't have to pay for your very first meeting. Normally £20–25, you can completely avoid that for your very first one, so you can come and find out for yourself what you've been missing. So do go and check out your local pin meetings. I do hope this video has been useful for you. If you want to like it, that's great, helps the algorithms. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell icon, so whenever these timely videos come out, you're one of the first people to be notified that the training's come out. Comment below, I'll happily answer as many questions as I can, but I just want to really encourage you. This is such a good time to be investing. Don't think, oh, I've got to sit there watching more YouTube videos, educating yourself. Get out there, start taking action. You need some knowledge, but the best learning is actually by doing. It's experiential learning, getting out there, taking action, doing things, maybe making a few mistakes. That's okay. You're not gonna kill anyone. You're not gonna kill yourself, but make sure you're taking action. You might want to watch the Death of Property Investing video to understand what some of the things the Labour government, are thinking about bringing in, just so you're fully aware of that. And as I said, make sure you book your local property investor network meeting. So until next time, I encourage you to invest with knowledge, invest with skill.